Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Johnson. I am president of the Plano West Rotary Club, and thank you for attending our meeting. To kick off our meeting, I'm going to hand this over to our past president and treasurer. That's a huge deal because he's taking work off of me and Glenn, Mike Walker. So take it away, Mike. You're muted. Mike, you're muted.
Oh, I heard everything I said. Anyway, instead of repeating all of that, I'm just going to ask, it's good to see Jerry Chambers with us this morning. And Jerry, one of the traditions at our club is to see if anybody has something like to brag about here at the beginning of the meeting. So I thought I'd ask you if you have an item you'd like to brag about.
Well, gracious, Mike, thanks so much for just started off that way. And it's so great to see this group. Malou, I'm so happy to see you. I guess I'll do two brags. I'll say this for Malou. Malou lives down the street from my parents. And so she is responsible for keeping watch if my father at 90, who still mows his lawn, is passing out. She's responsible for letting me know. Say brag, my parents, thanks to Baylor Scott and White, got their vaccine shots this past week. So I was thrilled about that. And then I am running for school board for re-election. Election day is May 1st, and I have been on the board now for 3 years. Love the work. It's hard work. It's good work, and very, very important work. So I am thrilled that Alex invited me to join you guys so that you can hopefully mark those calendars. Early voting starts April 19th with election day, May 1st.
All right, thank you very much. Glad to have you at. Everybody vote for Jerry. Okay, let's see. Joy, you ever brag this morning?
I just wanted to brag on the Wellness Center for Older Adults. For those of you that don't know, I'm the executive director there, and we were just awarded in January a huge grant through the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. So we were awarded $504,000 to offer services to homeless and those at risk of homelessness. So we are going to be able to give financial support to hopefully about 40 people and keep them off the streets and sustainable. So I'm just excited.
All right, thank you very much. Lisa, how you doing this morning? You ever brag?
Oh boy, I'm trying to think, do I have a brag? I don't think of anything off the top of my head. Just hoping that everyone's getting their vaccines and we can get the special event wedding business up and going again.
Amen.
It's not really a brag, but you know.
Hey, Mike, we have some other guests I'd like to do first. Julie Homer, Alyssa Klein, and then we have another guest soon to be inducted, Wendy Zambo. So let's try to squeeze them in before we run out of time.
All right. Okay, I didn't quite catch all of that, but is that Malou, Mary Lou, or Malou?
It is actually Malou.
Okay.
It's on my birth certificate, M'_Lou. It's from Skip to Malou, my darling.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So.
Well, do you ever brag this morning?
Oh, sure. Oh gosh. So I just want to brag. Well, you'll hear it in my speech, but brag on just this wonderful staff who transitioned from freezing a frozen tundra to having like 3 little events the day everything dried up. So I'm just so lucky to work where I work, and the team I have is great. So that, and I also received my 2nd dose of my COVID vaccine this week. My mom is in a long-term care facility, so I needed to get that for her protection, and glad to have it. So
okay, thank you for sharing. Alicia, you ever brag this morning? Alicia Klein.
Oh, yes. Hi, everyone. My name's Elisa Klein, and thanks to Alex for inviting me to the group. I'm running for City Council Place 8. So please, like my page. Everything is elisaforplano.com. I really have enjoyed volunteering in this group on behalf of this group in the past. So kudos to you all and everything that you do. My brag is for this community as well as, the Plano community that pitched in all the water for the folks over there by the Bel Air Oaks apartment complex and Sigler Elementary. So I really appreciate it that they're still not with water. So, they're still struggling, but I appreciate all the efforts for everybody that donated. So thank you very much. And again, my name's Elisa Klein. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Julia Homer, do you ever brag this morning?
Hello, good morning, and thank you again, Alex, for inviting me. It's happy to see you all. I'm trying to reboot my computer now, so I'm on my phone. I am also running for Plano City Council Place 7 and would appreciate everyone's support. I have my interview tonight at 8:30 with the Plano Police Association, and I am compiling my list of endorsers. So if anyone would like to add their name to that list, once I get my computer back up, we'll put a link in the chat that you can fill out. And anyway, I've been in Plano for 40 years. I love my city and passionate about it. Look forward to serving it. And I guess I haven't seen you guys since Snowmageddon, and also want to brag on how amazing our community was to just jump in and make donations to the POWs at Salvation Army, and also make things available for Grace Outreach for all the people that were without power. So thank you for that. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Julie. Wendy, do you ever brag this morning?
Sorry, I had to take myself off mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
My brag is that today I'm getting, hopefully, initiated into the Plano West Rotary Club.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
exciting. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
That's the perfect brag. Bedry, do you have a brag this morning?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot there, Mike. I guess I'll brag that my oldest one is now 3 months in at UT Austin in the computer science department. He's doing very well. So start with that. How about that?
That's perfect. Thank you. Mr. Beemendorfer, do you ever brag this morning?
I want to brag on Joy because every time I communicate with her, she's working her tail off, to get those grants, and congratulations on that. It doesn't get any better than that.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm Clevia. I think I pronounced that right. Do you ever brag?
So I'm at work, so I kind of have to be quiet. So don't tell anybody I took my mask off. Yeah. So my name's actually Clevie Figueroa. So thank you everybody for having me today. You actually said my name close to the correct Gaelic pronunciation. So kudos to you. I'm not really sure what our brag is supposed to be about, but I am kind of happy about this. I got my second COVID shot today, so I am vaccinated.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
All right, so we can all give her a hug, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Mr. James Thomas, do you ever brag this morning?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, Jerry Chambers, good seeing you. Feeling good. A pleasure seeing you. So my brag is on my lovely wife. As some of you know, I've been married for almost 6 months, and she hasn't left me yet. I mean, she's tried, but she hasn't. But on Sunday morning, I got my second COVID shot. And yesterday I went home, and as I was pulling my shirt off, I had my t-shirt on, and I was telling her how sore my arm is from the shot. And I said, it's just a little sore, honey, and I have no idea what that's all about. She said, well, that's strange to me. I said, well, no, even on the flu shot, your arm's a little sore after the shot. And she said, no, that's not strange. She said, what's strange is your Band-Aid is actually on your other arm. I said, oh my God, which arm? I got my shot, and I was looking for sympathy so I could ride that horse. I blew it. So next time, guys, you go home, make sure you know which arm you got your shot in, okay?
It's gonna be hard to beat that one. Catherine, you maybe have a brag this morning?
I do, and it has to do with James. I'm gonna brag that I'm excited that James and I are going to pivot from our inability to be able to do food delivery at Barron and Douglas to helping out Plano ISD students and their families that need that food. And we're going to be starting off here in March. And the exciting thing is one of the first volunteers I heard from was a young man from Plano West High School for Honor Society. So I was just telling Alex how I thought this was going to be a great opportunity to get our students to get their volunteering in, right on a school campus. So there you go.
A great brag. Thank you. LaShawn, you ever bragged this morning?
I don't really have a brag, but I'm tickled to be here and life is good in my part of the world. Good to see y'all.
Thank you. Good to see you. John Stafford, do you ever brag?
My brag is that Plano, I have passed my background check with Plano ISD, so I can go volunteer at those 3 drop-off locations without having any problems, because I actually read the forms and clicked that link and signed up with PISD to be a volunteer like the rest of you should be doing in advance, so that we're not doing that at the last minute.
Thank you.
Well, hey, Mike.
I like those icicles on your fan behind you there.
Well, Mike,
well, thank you. I think it's back to you, Mr. President.
Yes, excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. I do want to encourage everybody to know that Rotary is non-political, but we invite candidates to come to our meetings and say hello. So if you know any candidates in any of the races, every member, we're open to everybody. So invite people to come in and see the joy of our club and introduce themselves. So let's keep it up. All right, well, next on our agenda, I am going to bring our very illustrious member who is going to do a prayer for us. So, and if I could ask Glenn Thornton to lead us in prayer.
Bow with me, please. God, we thank you for this day. We give thanks for Rotary. We give thanks for this club. Service above self, we help our neighbors. We thank you for first responders. We ask for your continued guidance and direction going forward. Amen.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Next, I would like to ask one of our newest members, Joanna Snowden. She's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, Joanna. Okay, everybody knows one of the things that I consider to be the most important thing that I could ever do as a Rotary Club president is lead the vote and do the induction of a new member. So we have Wendy, who has been with us for the last couple weeks. She actually found us on the internet. She's just moved here recently from Boston. She was a Rotaract in Boston. She was Googling to get involved in Rotary or Rotaract. She found our website, saw everything that we're doing, and she immediately applied to join. It was just awesome. So, and she is eager to not only serve, but to get involved in our leadership and be part of the community. So I'm really excited that we've been able to get to know her. Now, for our guests, what we do, we have a vote. Only club members can vote. So we have guests, we do it via the polls, the Zoom poll. So I'm about to launch the poll, and I'd like to have all the members vote quickly. Here we go. Awesome. Wendy, you should know you have been unanimously voted into the Plano West Rotary Club. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you.
Now, this is where my biggest honor is. I get to induct you into Rotary International. And one of the things that I always like to let everybody know that Rotary is for life. There's never a reason why you need to leave Rotary, quit Rotary. And one of the cool things about Rotary is you don't have to always be super involved. I mean, I had a year that I was president of another organization and I had to take a Rotary sabbatical. Well, when I had time again, I got back in. So I encourage everybody on here, think of Rotary as a lifetime honor. And, you know, when you're busy, don't do anything. When you're not busy, do something. You know, it's as simple as that. And that's what's wonderful about Rotary. Now, Wendy, right now I am speaking to you. I'm ignoring everybody else here. This is an Alex Wendy conversation here. So Wendy Zambo, you have been proposed for membership and the club has elected you unanimously. Therefore, it is my pleasure to induct you into the Rotary Club of Plano West. I understand you are aware of Rotary requirements and will follow them. You have offered your services to assist your fellow Rotarians in their community and international projects. As you know, Rotary is a service club, each member performing what Rotary terms as service above self. Besides service, you will have the benefits of powerful bonds of friendship with fellow Rotarians locally and worldwide. That also includes if you go back to Cameroon, there's Rotary clubs there. I especially commend to you the attention of the object of Rotary and the four-way test, which form the criteria for Rotarians in their daily lives. When you travel, you have the special opportunity to attend Rotary meetings and meet Rotarians throughout the world. And that's actually really exciting. You know, this is another rewarding benefit of your membership. And now, by the power vested in me as president of the Rotary Club of Plano West, I am pinning this emblem on you and declare you to be an active member of this Rotary Club. Welcome to Rotary. We all look forward to the enrichment of our lives and your own by your own association in the world's oldest, largest, and finest service organization, Rotary International.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you have been able to, you've gotten to know Roxana, who's also on here. She is our membership chair, and her committee, what they're going to do this afternoon or this evening, they're going to hand deliver to you your new membership. And that has your emblem, it has a number of information about Rotary, answer questions, and they're going to help engage you. So Roxana is a phenomenal membership chair, which everybody in our club will know. Her main job is not recruitment, it's retention, making sure that we are a family working together, and we're so welcome to have you as part of our Rotary family. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Is there anything briefly you want to tell the club?
I mean, no, I'm just excited to be here. I think I'm the very first Cameroonian person on this club, on this board. I'm not sure how to say that, but moving to Dallas, a whole new city, it's scary. So I'm glad that I was able to find a little community that I can bond with and also grow with as well. So I'm very excited to be here.
Excited to have you. You represent our 4th African country of membership. So we have Cameroon, Zambia, Liberia, and Nigeria. So we're doing well. That's awesome.
Yes, nice.
Oh, excellent. Well, welcome, Wendy.
Thank
We
you.
look forward to getting you involved. All right,
Thank you.
everybody. Our next component is another very, very, very special part of Rotary. And it's exciting because we have a lot of club members that are achieving this status. So we are going to have a Paul Harris ceremony. So I'm going to drop my slides, and one of our amazing, I'll say infamous club members, Joy Hinkleman, she just talked about all the big bucks she just brought in. Ooh, big bucks. Well, Joy is going to take over now, and she's going to lead our Paul Harris Fellow ceremony. Take it away, Joy.
Okay, there we go. Can you see the screen now? Do you see it now?
I can see it.
Okay.
Again, it's not in full screen mode, so we could see your presentation mode.
See, it's on my other monitor. Let me do this and see if that fixes it. Nope.
That's all right.
Nope.
That'll work.
Well, I'm so sorry, Badri. This is Joy messing up already. At any rate, so you all are most likely aware that the Paul Harris Fellow is a very distinguished honor for those members that have made contributions or earned points up to $1,000 per Paul Harris Fellow. So this list is pretty amazing. It's got 15 of our members on there, and I think that's just huge that there are so many of us on there. But today, I, on behalf of the Plano West Rotary, have the very, very huge honor to present our newest Paul Harris Fellow. I'm shaking. To Badri Ram. Badri's mom, for those of you that may not know, Rose Wilderbaum, has been a member of the Plano West Rotary Club for many years. She was very, very active. And actually, she is the reason that the Wellness Center is affiliated. She pushed and pushed and pushed and nagged and just bothered everybody at the Rotary Club about letting the Wellness Center for Older Adults be honorary members. And they finally caved, and so we became honorary members all because of Rose. At Rose's request, we are bestowing this recognition on Badri. His mom was a very, very dear and precious friend, very devoted and active volunteer. This is actually a picture of her at one of our volunteer appreciation lunches. Just the feistiest, sweetest lady that wasn't afraid to tell you what she thought, and gave the best hugs. I miss those hugs, and I miss that sweet, sweet face. But I know without a doubt that she is looking down on you, Badri, and those boys, and is so very proud of you. She would tell us how proud she was every day that she was here. We heard all sorts of wondrous stories about artistic abilities and acceptance into to the university, and just constant wonderful stories that she just beamed about. So we kind of stalked you a little bit and stole this picture off your Facebook page so that we could have a picture of you. Nobody can probably see you, but I know that you're there in the back top.
Yeah, I see it.
So it's my honor to award you the Paul Harris Fellow in memory of your mother, our dear, sweet, precious Rose.
No, thank you, Joy. And both my boys are Paul Harris Fellows. Mom made sure of that. I think I know Alex for sure knows that. And Rotary was a very important part of her life. I think some of you may know the stories of, her going to Turkey and attending meetings there. And there was a streak of double-digit years, and I don't know the exact number, where she never missed a single meeting. So she was very devoted, definitely, passed on the knowledge of it to me and the kids. And it warms my heart to know that, lots of you knew her and she gave back. So thank you.
Did you hear the story about her smuggling walkers and wheelchairs? Because we had extra and they were taking them on a mission trip. It was through Rotary, and she used a wheelchair and pretended like it was hers just to get it through customs so that she could get it to somebody in need.
I did not know that, but
yes, she did.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us today, Badri. And
thank you, guys.
We will get your certificate and your pin to you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Joy. I want to thank Badri. and our club members. As Bedri knows, we had a number of members in our club make donations to the Paul Harris Foundation in Rose's name. And then when I was working with Bedri on that, he's like, hey, he made up the difference to achieve the total Paul Harris Fellow. So it was a group love event on behalf of Rose. And it's kind of interesting. As I got to know Bedri, we found out that we've got a lot of people in common. He used to work for a group that I used to work for Lucid. And so his whole group were my friends for many years. So it was kind of interesting to see. Through his mom, then I find out he and I have, relationships going back 30 years. And so that was very cool. So
small world.
And Bedri signs up to volunteer with us. So now that you guys see that face, if you put a mask over it, you'll see him on the project. And so thank you, Bedri. And I've been like slowly dripping on him saying, hey, he's a Paul Harris Fellow, he volunteers. He needs to join our club like his mom. So I'm going to continue drip on him, use some old telecom sales pitches on it. But thank you, Bedri, for being on this call with us.
Thank you, guys.
Well, awesome. It's always exciting to do Paul Harris Fellow ceremonies. Okay, what I'm going to do before we get to the main event is go through a little club business, and then I'm going to turn it over to our great member, Jim Frankenfield. I want to point out that PETS, which is basically virtual Rotary leadership training, it starts next week. You have until Thursday to register. I texted everybody who had not gone through PETS a personal invitation. We will reimburse you if you attend. It's $50. It's virtual, it's after work. You don't have to attend all the sessions, but it's phenomenal Rotary knowledge. So I really encourage people to sign up for it and do it. It makes you'll appreciate Rotary better and be able to use it to benefit you. Also want to point out, we are doing a lot more through Plano ISD, James Thomas. James Thomas and I have become best friends this year as we work through all these, the little minor Plano ISD bureaucracies and things. We all laugh, who knows Plano ISD. So by us getting as many people to fill out the volunteer app, enables us to do more and more and more with Plano ISD. So please go ahead and do it. It's about a 2-week interval because it's a background check and all that. So everybody in the club, just go ahead and knock it out. So that way, when you want to volunteer, it's not a big deal. I also want to congratulate Meher on leading her very first service project as a Rotarian, our 30 Days Act of Kindness. Great job. I don't know if she's on. She's probably in class. She's a sophomore at UTD in pre-med, and she ran this and actually personally recruited a number of people to it. And I think we had 17 total people on it, so that was exciting. I want to talk about some of our upcoming projects. Clean Up Plano. We are working directly with the city of Plano, and we're going to be cleaning up Oak Point Park. Glenn is running that because he's our Adopt a Highway guru genius. We've been doing that for 4 years. Because of the weather and the rain, the city's had to move it multiple times. So now it's moved into March 20th. And so we moved our Adopt a Highway to March 27th. So I would love for people to sign up for the Oak Point. We need 20 people. Actually, the city needs more. Actually, Oak Point's pretty big and it's a lot of dirty. So I encourage you to sign up, invite your friends to sign up. This is an easy project for us because we just show up and the city directly runs it. Yay, those are the great projects. And then we have our 3 meal drives with the city, with the Plano ISD. We do that once a month, these 3 schools. We're basically almost full for this month because Minnie's Food Pantry is the food pantry partner as well as Texas Health Resources. They're providing the food pre-boxed. Normally it was bulk. And so James and his staff and school admin were having to take it out of bags, cutting it, package it. And so we needed a lot of volunteers. Now it's pre-boxed. So we only need 7 people per school. So it fills up quick. So we're gonna open up April, probably in a week or so, we wanted to get a feel of what's going on with this one. But definitely look to do it in the future. All Plano four-way test contest. This is something we're partnering with three other Rotary clubs: Plano Metro Rotary, Plano Sunrise Rotary, Plano East Rotary, and then us. And all Rotary clubs are going to the schools that they work closely with. And we're inviting all the students to do virtual speeches over Zoom on March 20th. And it's about the four-way test. Jenny Orth, our club member, who is running that in conjunction with Julia Lynn, who is our amazing Plano Senior High School Interact Club president and district governor for Interact. They're basically running the show. We just need to send students there. So if you click that link, that's where students can register. I think last I checked, we had 17 students so far, which is really cool. That means each club can have 4 students speak. Oh, so let me understand that. We have that all city thing. Then March 23rd, which is the Tuesday after that Saturday, 4 of the students will speak to our club. So, and Zane's gonna run that meeting. I was just notified recently, yay Zane, because I think Jenny has class. And so he's gonna run the meeting of a 4-way test speech contest that we will watch during our meeting. And so that's on the 23rd. And then what we're doing is we will be picking the top students from the March 20th event, ideally from Plano Senior or Clark. Those are the schools we sponsor, and then they'll compete. And then I've already talked about the March 27th, Plano, that's where we adopt the highway, clean up Avenue K. We need to get people to sign up for that. It is back the week after the other one, but definitely, you know, we need a lot of members to do that. And then we have the cards for nursing homes. That's something we do every month. So those are the things that we've done and that we're doing, and just so everybody knows what's going on. Now, I'm going to turn this, so I'm done talking. I'm going to turn this over to Jim Frankenfield, and he's going to introduce our amazing speaker. Take it away, Jim.
Good afternoon. This presentation has been a long time in the process, over 6 months, and due to the COVID on our part at Rotary West, and also the challenges that have been had at the Farmstead Museum, we've been working on this since October. So now we've brought it to fruition, and I have the honor of presenting to you Malou Taylor Hyttinen, who is the president and CEO of the Heritage Farmstead Museum here in Plano. Probably one of the most historic operations in the city. And she's been there 11 years, running the show and having charge of everything from the growth, the overall management, and the operation of the farmstead. Farmstead is a 4-acre site. It was built in the late 1800s and has about 30,000 visitors a year. And she's brought this thing forward with lots of presentations that evolve within the homestead for everyone to see. It's a great spot for our children and ourselves and our grandchildren to go and see what's historically happened in Plano. She has a great background of corporate and real estate experience over the years. She's a graduate of Baylor University in communications and has been very active in the community with the Plano ISD, the Richardson ISD, the State Fair, Texas Association of Museums, and the American Alliance of Museums. She's a local resident, lives with her husband Chris and son Will. And to quote her, her passion is making history education and farm life fun and preserving the past for future generations. Before I turn it over to her, I'm sure all of you have the same question I had when I first met her. And that was, how'd you get the name Malou? Anyway, as she said to me, my dad liked the song, Skip, Skip, Skip to My Lou. Anyway, without further ado, I will turn it over to Malou. Take us and enlighten us on the Heritage Farmstead Museum in Plano.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Jim. It's such a pleasure really to be part of your group. And I was just flipping through and I see so many friends' faces and I hope future friends as well. So just thank you so much. I'm going to share a PowerPoint with you just because I think it's great to see the farmstead while I talk about it. So much of what we do is the experience of the museum. And so I want you to have a little bit of feel for that. So if it's okay, I'll share my screen real quick and we'll get this going here. So first of all, like you said, I've been at the museum for 11 years this April. And I guess it's true what they say when you're having fun, just time flies. Also, when there's lots to do, I think sometimes, or when you're busy, time flies. So I always start out my presentation by giving you some history, not just, obviously we're a history museum, so I'm passionate about that, but just also about why we're important to Plano and the North Texas community. And then, and just a little bit about why, when and how we were formed. So first, the museum's located on a farm site. This is a wonderful aerial from 1951. The farmstead was built, like he said, in 1891. We're at 15th and Custer. The house was sat on what was originally 365 acres of farmland. So, and by definition, a lot of people ask, what is a farmstead? Well, a farmstead by definition includes, it means a farm with its buildings. So we are so lucky that they saved not just the house, but the little outbuildings. We are not a recreated village. Many people think that buildings were brought in or the house was moved here, and we are not. That's what makes us really, really special, is that we are not, that it was preserved intact. It's very rare to find a farmstead with all of them. Usually they'll keep the house or just the barn, but never really all of it. So this big, beautiful house was built by Hunter Farrell. And he built it for his wife, Mary Alice, and his stepdaughter, Amy. It was a very successful farm that included caretakers, crops, livestock, tenant farmers, and eventually a world-renowned sheep breeding business. So after the death of her parents in the 1930s, Amy returned to the farm with her husband, Dudley, and it brought the farm and the city prominence by her work in the sheep breeding industry. She was nationally and even internationally known for her prize-winning sheep. The property that surrounded the farm at times would have up to 300 head of sheep roaming and grazing the land. Miss Amy died in 1972. So because there were no heirs, the property was left to charity. It was slated to be developed into more retail and residential area, but local farm families, including the Haggards and the Harringtons and the Carpenters and many of the people who the preservationists of the 1970s, saw this tremendous opportunity to create a future education facility. So they formed the Plano Heritage Association in 1973. And they partnered with the city of Plano. So the city of Plano bought the land, and the Plano Heritage Association agreed to manage all of the sites, so all of the operating and managing the site, and provide history and heritage programming and preservation activities. So we also have the care of taking care of all of these wonderful buildings. So we've now been doing that for almost 48 years, which is amazing. We are proud to be Plano's first local historic landmark. So back in the 70s, they started identifying these very important historic resources, and we were their first one. We're also a Texas historic landmark. And then we're also recognized nationally for two separate things. One, we're on the National Register of Historic Places, and we're also accredited by the by the American Alliance of Museums. So that's a testament of our museum practices and standards that keep the museum running. So as you can see, we're a true North Texas treasure, meant to be celebrated. Every day we show up knowing what a precious place this is and dedicated to its continued. So as you can see, like, and we say, you know, thanks to our donors, our members, our volunteers, the city of Plano over the years, it's been very well cared for, expertly preserved and maintained. The grounds and the site have never been more beautiful. Visitors can be transported back into the rich farm history that founded our community and life on the Blackland Prairie. And our goal is really to immerse visitors in this experience and let them escape the modern world and step into the past. And it's really what is the essence. Like I said, you know, I'd love to take you as close to that essence as hard, you know, through Zoom, but hopefully I can show you some wonderful pictures and you can feel it. But that's really what we feel like we do best and we work so hard for in preservation, is to totally immerse the visitor in the past. So as you can see, we've worked really hard to work on the site and make, you know, that feel of, because we're right at the intersection of 15th and Custer. But we work really hard to create little experiences so that you can really get a feel for what Plano was like. Typically, oh, and here's our animals. Obviously, we are a full working farm with all kinds of livestock, which is one of our main attractions, as you can imagine. But typically, especially pre-COVID, we were so busy. And we had hundreds of people, students, adults, friends, community members, out-of-town visitors, young and old, all people coming, participating in field trips, nighttime events, lectures, tours, parties, birthday parties, weddings, and you know, I could just go on and on. But you will see people enjoying the site, kids laughing and learning. And that's what makes it so fun, is just sharing the site and our experiences with them. But what our core is truly education. We like to say that we're a classroom where the walls disappear. We believe in experiential learning. So playing in the field, doing chores around the farm, feeding the chickens, using a hand pump, watching the blacksmith, make and bend metal, riding in a wagon, a hay, you know, on a hay ride. So, and then plowing and planting and just, and working with livestock. So just experiencing as much farm life as we can share with all of our visitors. And so really understanding the life and work of the farmer and the contribution on how that built our community. And we also have beautiful events. So again, this is all pre-COVID and we hope to be back there again one day. But we like to immerse people in one-of-a-kind experiences, like for special events. So maybe an intimate farm dinner. You can kind of sit back and close your eyes and be transported to like an old-fashioned barn dance, or even a holiday event, a Victorian holiday event, or even egg hunts. This is one thing we're going to miss a lot this spring, is our egg hunts for kids, but also egg hunts for adults. So obviously, and then we had a wonderful event that we partner with the Communities Foundation on yoga. So we've used the site in so many ways to create so many different fun experiences. So this graphic, I know we're all tired of seeing, but this changed us obviously a lot. But the challenge really came, it started obviously in our spring season, which is our most, I tell you, our spring is where we make the most, it's our busiest time of the year. It's when we have our biggest events. We have our fundraiser in the spring. So just like so many, we had to close our doors. So right away we transitioned. We all started working from home, but we still provided essential services. So we still have, I think we counted them the other day, we have about 40 mouths to feed through the animals. So we have sheep and turkeys and donkeys and you name it. So, and then our buildings, we had to protect our buildings and our finances and our grounds and provide security. So we transitioned. So we did that really well. I was so proud of our staff moving to home, because so much we have to do is on the site. But we had our great education staff that said, hey, let's do virtual content and let's try to get as much farm activities out to everyone. So they started doing, obviously we canceled everything, our fun event, but we would do weekly preschool events and have our preschool families tune in. We built quite an audience with our preschool families, so having them come in and being able to do that. We also hosted a week long of summer camp. And so summer camp is also a huge thing for us, which we were not able to do last year. So lots of social media. We did a wonderful, we, like other people, trying to do virtual fundraising events and transitioning those. And we had a lot of fun with them, and we do love to do those. But as everybody knows, we're all ready to get back in person. But we also highlighted our exhibit and our collections and let people see unique items in the museum and in the house. We also did a really fun thing. I'm not sure how many of you saw this, but we were able to do, just to raise money for the farm, we did some Zoom calls. So you could add a farm animal to your Zoom call. In fact, you might want to add one on a future date. But it was a lot of fun, and we did end up raising some good money that way. Obviously, we also applied for the PPP. So the things that saved us during COVID were the PPP. We were able to do that. And also the city of Plano, our heritage grant funds were secured. We did not think they would be, but thankfully, and that the city was really passionate about keeping all the heritage properties, operating. And so we were so lucky to have that. So we survived, but I'll tell you, we came back. I think our staff is fairly small, so we came back on different days and started coming back really in May and June of last year. And all of us walking around just were like, this place should be shared, and it's outdoors, and how could we get people out of their house and safely let them visit the farm again? So we developed a reopen task force, and it was made up of staff members and board members. And we came up with protocols, and we used what museums were doing around the country, but also just based on our site. How can we keep our staff and our volunteers and our visitors safe? And we figured out we could do it. And we ran test groups. So we would have our friends and our families and our volunteers come. And so we had to build back the trust to the volunteers that we would keep them safe. So obviously we have masks, we have hand sanitizing stations all throughout the property. We only have small groups. So a lot of times it's just a family unit or a friend group that had been quarantined together. And we did a couple of test runs through July and August. And we started saying, like, this is actually working. We'd have our little wagon rides. And so we officially reopened on a very small scale. We typically in the past were open 6 days a week. We're now open 3 days a week for a short period of time. So we're open Thursdays, Fridays, and 2 Saturdays a month. And that is from 10 to 2. And folks can come and walk around. We have grounds guides that we haven't had any trouble with people gathering or creating, so we have grounds guides and tractor drivers and house tour guides in our visitor center. And what we realized is that we could do it, and we have capacity limits. We would never have probably more than 50 people. But we realized we could have more than that, but that's a good safe number to keep the community safe and everybody safe. So we were just so proud. And then we also started getting lots of calls, as you can imagine, for outdoor space. So I had many families that still wanted to do birthday parties and their weddings. We were happy to be a location for a small wedding, but all of them, again, having to agree to our COVID procedures and our protocols, and lots of cleaning, lots of hand washing and different things. But we found that we were able to be this place in a different way for the community than they had been in the past, but this safe, beautiful park-like, natural environment that so many people needed during this quarantine time. So we're happy to say that it all has gone so well. And we have, had no problems of having to shut down for any reason due to COVID. We ended up doing, which was what we did is transition our tour that we did during the day to a nighttime tour. So the same protocols were in place, same safety measures. Groups could come, just 10 people. They had to, we asked that, they were in a small group, usually their family or maybe work friends that had been quarantined or friends. And they would come 10 at a time, every 30 minutes. It was so different for us, but it was wonderful. Everyone felt safe. It was just a nice family alternative. Everybody, wore their mask. This picture is really fun to see down with the tractor, so they could have a socially distanced photo with Santa. He would be on the tractor. He has on a visor. You can't really see it in that. And then everyone could have their mask on and still be distanced from him. So, and Rutledge Haggard let us borrow his beautiful red tractor for that. We just thought that that would be a fun addition. And so this was something we learned, like, wow, we can actually do a modified, very small event that still gave people an option to get out, and obviously helped us as well. So after the Christmas holidays, we started really planning the spring and how do we continue to stay safe. We're still staying very small with our events and programs. And then, as you all know, we had the great snow. So luckily, the week of freezing temperatures, again, this is a test. Our staff to make sure the property was safe and that we didn't have any major disasters. And one thing is that we didn't lose power. So whether it was because we were on 15th, maybe the hospitals are fairly close by, or just pure luck for us, is that we did have power the whole time, which helped with our animal care. But as I posted this on my social media and saying, the wide open spaces of Plano, Texas. So I thought that was a neat way to look at it. But here's some of our animals. We had somebody checking on them 3 times a day during this freeze. It was amazing. We had water heaters that were electric in some, but obviously they were all sold out in many places, but we would have the water would freeze within 2 hours. So that's why we would come out and break the water and keep everybody happy. And we're proud to say we didn't lose one animal or chicken during the freeze. And so, but what was amazing is that from this time, so I think everything melted on Saturday. After we had a birthday party in the barn for a small group, like 10 people. And then the next night, one of the candidates for mayor, John Munns, had his kickoff party in the barn. And it was just like, we just were pinching ourselves. What just happened? Weren't we just trudging through the snow? But I think it just gave us reassurance and hope, I guess, that the future is still bright and that we can continue to do some things. We are continuing to be open Thursday, Friday, and a couple Saturdays. We do have school programs that are coming in, homeschool Tuesdays and preschool Wednesdays. Again, these are very small groups. I think the last one we had maybe had 50 people through the whole day. So they come in waves. We are going to try to do summer camp. We've worked really hard on the planning for that this year. We feel like we can safely do summer camp 9 to 1 each day. We're going to have all of our groups separate, very similar to school protocols. We'll have all of our protocols in place and continue to keep people safe. So I always also end by saying, you know, because people ask, how can we help or get involved? Come visit us. You know, always we love to share our story. Relationships have always been important to us, and you never know who can come and visit and share resources with us or connect us to the right person. Volunteer. I think this is one thing that Jim and I had talked about when he came to visit, is how could the club help us? And we are always looking for volunteers. I put the tractor driver on here because we could use more tractor drivers. So if you've ever had this desire to drive a tractor in the middle of the day, out, get away from city life, we would love that. It's not difficult. It's like a big lawnmower if you've ever driven one of those, and so we'd love for you to volunteer. We have a sign-up genius that we could share that, and you can come and volunteer once, you could come weekly, you could come once a month, whatever works for your schedule or your club. We would love to have you. So like I said, we're open usually 2 days a week, and then twice a month, 3 days a week. But sometimes there's things in between, some cleanup projects and things, but it is a great place to come and be outside and be in nature. Become a member. We always, obviously through all of this, memberships have been really important to us. Obviously donate. Cash is king always. We always can use money to continually keep our buildings and our programs going, and obviously sponsor if our summer camps or different things are something your company would want to be part of. We'd love for you to do that. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to everyone if you have any questions for me.
Unfortunately, we don't have any time for questions.
Okay, sorry, I went long.
No, nothing. Okay. That's great. We just love hearing you. Okay. So Malou, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you and Jim have been talking for a while, because that's exactly what we want to do. Our club is a service club. We do on average of 6 service projects a month. And wow. It's unfortunate that Heritage hasn't been one of them. So hopefully between you and Jim, I know Michelle's helping them put together some socially distanced, COVID-friendly, safe service projects that we can bring our mass of volunteers to help out, because Alex. So I want to say thank you very much. But like I said, we've got 2 minutes. Sorry, Jim, but
let me say one comment.
What I would like to do, Malou, is one thing we do for all our speakers. We do a certificate of appreciation. And so Malou, in appreciation of your time in Plano West Rotary, will donate $10 in your name to the Rotary Polio Plus Fund, together with the 2-to-1 matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That $10 donation we're going to do in your name is going to turn into $30 that will provide polio vaccines for about 50 children. And one of the things we like for people to know that Plano or Rotary uses our polio infrastructure to aid in the vaccination for COVID-19. And so what we've been fighting polio for 40 years, we're also being part of the global vaccination process for COVID. So you're going to be part of that success story.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
One comment, Alex. I'd like to extend an invitation to Malou to consider becoming a member of Rotary West.
Oh, that's very nice too. You're a very impressive club.
Yes, thank you, Jim. That is one of the things that our great, phenomenal membership organization run by Roxana. we definitely encourage our speakers and our guests. Alyssa, who else do we have? We have Alyssa, we have Jerry, we have Julie, all of you. We want you to join, serve with us as well. So next, what I'd like to do is remind everybody, next week, I'm sorry for going a little over, it's 1 o'clock. We're gonna have the University of Texas Dallas Rotary Club is gonna present to us. And 4 out of their 5 officers are members of our club. So we're going to hear from a combination of Bianca, Zane, Taha, and Mihir, and they're going to talk about how they as Rotarians are restarting the UTD Rotary Club and how they're going to be encouraging their fellow UTD students to continue to volunteer and serve with our club, as well as the Richardson Rotary Club that sponsors that club. So don't miss that meeting. As we have 7 college students in our club, and I bet we're going to get more as we help build that Rotary Club. So to close out this meeting, I want to ask that Lisa Leach, past president Lisa Leach, is going to lead us in the 4-way test.
Okay. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Rotary.
Rotary. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a fantastic day.